She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you.
Welcome to today's Word of Mom Radio here on the Word of Mom Media Network. I'm your host, Dori DeCarlo, and you know we are here show after show, week after week, just breaking those myths that mompreneurs and business women, especially those of us building our businesses from home, that we're just dabbling in between bake sales and getting our nails done, we're not. We are smart, we are savvy, and we are sharing the wisdom of women in business and in life. And today I am bringing in somebody who is near and dear to my heart and has a message that we need to be sharing. Liz Lounsbery is a mom on a mission. As an active duty military spouse and mother of 3, Liz navigates the unique challenges of military life while fiercely advocating for her daughter, Isla, who lives with multiple rare diseases and disabilities. From fighting for accessible health care to ensuring Isla's voice is heard in a world that often overlooks medically complex children, Liz's advocacy is rooted in love and a deep belief that every child deserves a joyful, dignified life. Liz is passionate about bringing awareness to the realities of families face within the rare disease and disability communities, highlighting the gaps in care while celebrating the everyday victories that matter most. She also understands the quiet strength it takes to hold a family together while facing deployments, moves, and the uncertainties of military life. When she's not navigating medical appointments, therapies, or IEP meetings, you can find Liz soaking up the chaos and sweetness of everyday moments with her children, scrolling with a coffee in hand, or finding small pockets of rest through reading. Really, Liz's story is one of resilience, humor, and the relentless pursuit of a world where every child, regardless of ability or diagnosis, can thrive. And again, you know, Liz is somebody I know on a personal level. And her husband is one of my bestie's son, who I've known since he was 5. And her little girl, Isla, is the most amazing little fiery redhead that you will ever see. So with all of this being said, Liz, welcome to Word of Mom Radio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I am honored to have you. I'm proud that you are doing the advocacy work that you are doing. And I really want people to understand that with everything going on right now, with the big, beautiful bill, and the things that have been cut on medical services and needs, especially for our special needs community, that even a military spouse is not above what has been cut. So I would love for you to just kind of take us on your journey, that day-to-day life in Isla's story and what it looks like for you.
Sure. She and my oldest son are fertility kids. We had multiple tries of getting pregnant and it never worked. So we went through the fertility route, which was a hassle to begin with because insurance doesn't really cover that either, because they don't really see infertility as a disease either. So that was the start of our uphill battle. And then, you know, we got pregnant with Isla, and up until about 32 weeks, everything was smooth sailing. Everything looked great. She was measuring small, but we didn't really think anything of it because my side of the family is small. I mean, my husband is not. He's 6 feet and all of his siblings are tall. But I was like, well, you know, my nieces and nephews are tiny. We went in for a regular anatomy check and they scanned from her brain to her spine multiple times. And it was in that moment that I was like, okay, well, something's going on. So at 32 weeks, she was diagnosed with ventriculomegaly. And from that moment on, it was just on the fast lane. 36 weeks, I had to get an MRI done on her to make sure that she didn't have a stroke in utero. Thankfully, it did not. She did not. She just had enlarged ventricles on both sides. She was induced at 39 weeks, but she came out as measuring as a baby that was 35 weeks. So we spent 2.5 weeks in the NICU. She was on a ventilator. She was on a breathing machine. She had to go home with a heart monitor because one of the walls in her heart chambers hadn't closed fully yet because she was so small. She only weighed just at 5 pounds. So from that moment on, we entered the medically complex world, and we were not expecting any of that when we had our second child. And it was from that moment on, we got testing. She's met with 3 geneticists, and each time it would come back as inconclusive. It wasn't until her 3rd birthday that we got the notice that something had popped on her genetics screening. At that moment, she was diagnosed with Van Maldegren, which is so rare that it is maybe like 1 in 20 kids in the entire world. And then she was also diagnosed with Bruck syndrome, which is also very rare. And she has extremely fragile bones. So any small fall could shatter her bone. She's had 5 surgeries in her 4 years of life on her right leg. She has cerebral palsy on top of all of that. She is hard of hearing on her right side. She is somewhat wheelchair bound. She uses the wheelchair as her main mode of transportation, but when she's out and about, she is scooting and crawling like nobody's business. And then right before she started preschool, she got an autism diagnosis as well. So we have been head first in everything.
I remember the video when Isla got her wheelchair. After
Yes.
you guys found out that, you know what, this is something that she's going to need. And she took off after her 2 brothers, like the fiery little
Yes.
redhead she is. Every
Yes.
video
And
you would show of her after surgeries, and there she was on her crutches trying to catch them, or
yes.
crawling on the ground trying to catch.
Yes.
She is an amazing little girl.
Yeah, she does not. It's always so funny because every time she has her surgery, they give us a let her rest, and her orthopedic is like, she's not going to rest. We just have to realize that we have to put her in a cast, because if we don't put her in a cast, she's just going to break another bone. So it does not slow her down at all. Sometimes I wish it did, because it's exhausting trying to like make sure that she's not jumping on the trampoline with a broken leg. I'm like, can we tame it a little bit? Let's take a break. But if you were just to look at a video of her and not know, and just see her playing, you would never know that she's had 5 surgeries. You would never know that she has been developmentally delayed her entire life. You just wouldn't. She doesn't really let it define her, and neither do her brothers. Like, they know she's kooky. They know that she's kooky, but they don't let her get away with anything. Like, if she wants to wrestle with us, okay, we're going to wrestle back. Like, you don't get to just, throw your hands and then hide them when it's time to get in there. So she is just very full of spirit. And it took us a long time to be okay with her being in a wheelchair. Only, I think it was more hard on Mike and I, my husband and I, than it was on her, because we had all of these visions of like what our little girl would do. Oh, she's going to join the dance team. She's going to do gymnastics. And then to just meet a brick wall and be like, no, she's actually going to be in a wheelchair. It was really hard for us. Probably more me, I will be 100% honest, than Mike. But the moment that we put her in that wheelchair and she lit up, because she didn't have to rely on me to carry her, it lifted like a huge burden off of us, that, okay, this is what she needs. And it may not be forever. She may, we're never going to say she can't ever walk. And that's our end goal. Like, we would love for her to, take a few independent steps. But I don't feel as guilty of her being in a wheelchair that I did when they first told us that's the route that we needed to go.
You're using the word guilty. I'm going to say
I have so much. I know.
and you know what? You have nothing to be guilty about.
I know. And
but it is an amazing thing, the mom guilt that mothers
it's
carry
so
when their
real.
child. That's why everything going on right now with a Secretary of Health that doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and now turning around about Tylenol. Why? Because
I
the
know.
president couldn't figure out how to say
How to even say it. Oh my
So
gosh.
let's just go with Tylenol. Meanwhile,
Yes.
let's face it, Tylenol is what they give you when they're not going to give you anything.
Exactly. Tylenol is the bare minimum.
Exactly.
They gave me
And
Tylenol when I broke my wrist. I was
thank
like,
you.
what
And
is
it's
that
like,
going to do for
really?
me?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Do I stick those in my ear so I don't hear myself
Yeah.
scream in pain?
Exactly.
This is the really tough part of trying to advocate in a world
Mm-hmm.
right now that is not hearing anything but their own voices. And then the
Yes.
guy comes out and says, well, there really isn't any research that backed up what I said, but it's just what I think. Who gives a
Yeah.
rat tiny what you
E-
think?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's so, this is where I have to, I put my mom hat with my kid, but I also have to teach my sons too. Your voice is not any better just because you're a boy than it is mine or your sister's or your dad's better than me. It boils down in my feelings perspective that it's not really, they just don't really care about women's bodies, health, whatever. The one thing that women can take safely during pregnancy is Tylenol. And now you're telling us, don't do it. You're going to harm your child. And I hate to say it, but I didn't take Tylenol when I was pregnant with Isla because I already had so much guilt with her. Oh my gosh, what could I have done differently to not make her have all of these in utero issues? So I didn't even take Tylenol. And she is as autistic as they come. And then
And
my other
again,
two boys, yeah, I took Tylenol because I was like, well, shoot, I'm going to take it. I don't feel good. Because that, especially with Knox, I already had two kids. I was older. I was like, I'm going to take the Tylenol to go to sleep. And he's as neurotypical as they come for a 3-year-old boy. So, and my husband said the same thing. He's like, there's no studies to say, like, genetics don't matter to these people because autism is just like any other genetic, it is inherited somehow. Somehow the genes got mixed up. And I always tease my husband, look in the mirror. And he's like, you're right, I am.
again, that mom guilt stuff that
Mm-hmm.
we carry, that we put on ourselves. Meanwhile, here you are advocating at the top of your lungs. What has that advocation for Isla taught you, not only about yourself and being a mom, but the system that we're trapped in right now?
It has taught me that I am much stronger than I have ever given myself credit for. I always thought, like, oh, I'll always say something if I need to. But it wasn't until I had children, even Declan, he had a peanut allergy. So I taught him, like, you have to advocate for yourself because I'm not always going to be there to like tell people you have a peanut allergy. But it wasn't until I had Isla in this election cycle that I was like, I need my voice to be heard because I cannot let the system fail her. I can't fail her. And so I really started like putting myself out there. I was posting on Facebook all the time to the point where I have lost so many friends on Facebook because I probably annoyed them because I cannot let this go. You may have never met a child like my daughter, but there are children like her in the world. And there are going to be thousands more like her after her. And if I don't say anything, then I am doing a huge disservice to her and all of the families behind me because they may not have that inner strength to be like, okay, I need to do this. Because a lot of the time, like we talked about, you have that mom guilt. So a lot of the time you hold that in and you don't want to tell anyone that you're feeling this kind of way and that you need, but that's when you need to speak up the most because the louder you are, the more people will start to hear you. When we moved here, we had some issues with the school and I was like, no, I'm not gonna just sit here and let you tell me what you're gonna give my daughter. I'm going to tell you what she needs, and you're gonna find a way to make it work. And I told the school, I was like, I will always be kind to you. I will always be kind, but I'm not always going to be nice because at the end of the day, your feelings do not outweigh my child's needs. They just don't. So we can either work together and find a smooth path, or I can fight you the whole way, and I will gladly do that. And it's like a running joke because my brother works at the school, and he was like, "Well, they definitely know who you are now." And I'm like, "Good," because I need them to know. Like I will always go out of my way to be kind to people. I will always show kindness, but I will not always be nice when it comes to my children, especially Isla, because the
On that
world is not
note,
always nice to her.
You know what? I'm serious. I want you to think of what Liz is saying. We're going to take a quick break, say thank you to our supporters, and we'll be back here in just a moment on Word of Mom Radio. She is brave. She is bold. She is you. And we want to tell your story. Are you ready to share your journey with us on Word of Mom Radio? Go to wordofmomradio.com and register as a guest. We want to tell your story because when you win, we all win.
In 2017, Unsilenced Voices was formed to help survivors of domestic abuse and gender-based violence worldwide. The organization currently serves Sierra Leone, Rwanda, Ghana, and the USA. In 2022, Unsilenced Voices gifted over $33,000 to survivors in the USA, and in Sierra Leone, there are over 26 young girls who have been rescued from sex trafficking and domestic abuse and now going through vocational training school in order to better their lives. We need your help. Donations are critical in order for us to continue our work. We also need volunteers to help with research and development. Please visit unsilencedvoices.org for more information.
And we're back here on Word of Mom Radio. We're talking with Liz Lounsbery, and I have to tell you, again, I said in the intro, I know Liz's husband since he was a child, and Mike and Liz went to school together up in Delhi. And I remember meeting you then and at different, and when I tell you, Liz used to be a very quiet, timid person. She was a very, very quiet, timid girl. And to see her, I don't care if you lost friends. And if you lost friends, they were never your friends to begin with.
Yes.
Because with every post I saw, I was so ridiculously proud of you. I was so amazed at your voice, at the voice that you have found within yourself to advocate for Isla and your kids and for kids like her. Mm-hmm. Liz, it is remarkable what you have done and how you have been working so hard. Share with us what you want people to understand about not only raising a child with a disability or disabilities, but coupling in with rare diseases that people they've never even heard of.
I think that's the most challenging part, is because there are so little studies for her illnesses and her diseases. So before we moved, she had just completed her 5th surgery on her leg, and her bones were opaque and there was nothing we could do. Her GI was giving her calcium boost. We were doing everything in our power that we could, but there was nothing was working. And her endocrinologist was like, well, we can start a bone infusion, but the issue is that we've never had someone Isla's age complete it. It's usually done when they're 10, 11, 12. When they start noticing, when they're playing sports is really when it starts. And her orthopedic said the same thing when she had her first surgery. We've never done this surgery on someone so little, because typically these breaks don't happen when they're 3. They happen when they're sports playing. So we've had to, outweigh the pros and cons of each treatment study. Do we want to do this? And most of the time we say yes. We are a family that will never say no to an opportunity that is given to help enhance our children's lives. So for the most part, we have always said yes, and we've made it work somehow. Hence why I'm still in New York and my husband is down in Georgia. We knew that going down south with everything that was going on would not be the right choice for our family, especially with the bone infusion starting. So, we had to make that hard choice of living separately, which has never, I wouldn't recommend it, but it is what it is, as we always say in our family. We have to do what we have to do. Another issue that arose too is that she was in a research group. She was slated to start a research group, signed all of the paperwork, everything. January comes around, President Trump is inaugurated. February, we get a notice that the research has been cut. So her geneticist was like, I can still put her on the list, but the funding is not there. And we don't know when we'll get the funding back. but if you would like to stay on the list, I can gladly do that. So we are on a waiting list for a research group for kids like Isla that have multiple genetic disorders that keep manifesting into other disorders. So I can't even say that I'm hopeful in the next 4 years it'll happen, but I'm hopeful that in the future it will happen. Maybe the next president will realize that the children literally are the future. And if we can help save other kids from going through any of the issues that my daughter has gone through, like I will gladly go through every hoop to get that.
It's so sad for me. When I was 16, I was at Blythefield Children's Hospital. I was volunteering there, and I actually worked the second Special Olympics there ever was. And now it's on TV. It's on ESPN.
Yeah.
It is, you know, world recognized, because the world at one point clearly realized that no child, and it means no child,
Yes,
should be left behind. And now we are dealing with people that
don't care. And yeah,
it's not even just
holding
children.
them burdens.
It's period.
Any person with a disability, anything, they're considered a burden now. And I will stay until my dying breath. My daughter has never been a burden to us, ever. She could have every illness. All of my kids could have some kind of issue, and I would never consider them a burden. And so it's hurtful to hear people dismiss people with disabilities because they can't contribute. Well, what is contributing? What is contributing? Because as far as I can see, she's contributing to her brother's joy, my joy, her dad's joy. Her teachers love her. So she is contributing. Sure, she may never have a job that she can work by herself, but she is contributing, and she does deserve dignity.
You know, the thought of people with disabilities not contributing. Gee, Helen Keller, Albert
Right?
Einstein,
Exactly.
Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, you know,
Yes.
most of NASA
Yes.
that are on the autism spectrum. People hear the word autism and they immediately think of nonverbal, non-communicative,
Yes.
and they do not realize the range of that spectrum and how some people are off the charts brilliant, but still have that autism diagnosis. And again, it is the stigma of not being perfect. I'm doing finger quotes in the air because there is no such thing as perfection.
Exactly.
That's like the only thing that's normal is a setting on a dryer.
Yes.
You know? And being neurotypical as opposed to neurodivergent. One would think as we get into we're 25 years into the 21st century, that awareness would grow as opposed to being limited. So
yeah,
that's why your advocacy, the work that I see you doing, the fact that, you know, at first you started just doing this as a place to vent. And then you realize that, you know what, you actually have a voice, and a really, really important voice to be heard. It really is. So we're going to have to kind of wrap this up, but what are you when you look at Isla's future, what world do you want her and our kids to grow up in? I have grandkids growing up in this world.
Yes. I would love for her to grow up in a world where she feels comfortable being herself. She is fully herself at home, and her brothers love and adore her. And I would love for other people to look at her the way that we look at her. We don't look at her as a girl in a wheelchair. We don't look at her as a girl with multiple disorders. We look at her as this kooky little silly girl that just wants to make people laugh. And I want a world where people aren't ashamed to be themselves, and to not be afraid that they're going to be like pushed in the corner because they don't think the same way as everyone else, or they don't look the same way as everyone else, or they don't act the same way as everyone else, because that is what makes the United States the United States. We're not a, institution. We are a bundle of people. And I just wish that everyone looked at children like my daughter as a person instead of how much they're costing taxpayers.
Oh God, that just was a knife in my heart. That just made me cry. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, sadly, so many people, until it happens to them, just don't really think about it.
They don't. No, they don't care.
They don't. They don't care. It gets passed by,
Mm-hmm.
and no one deserves to be passed by. No one deserves to be stepped over. And if we're not out there advocating for our children, they're all our children.
Mm-hmm.
They
No one
are.
will.
You don't
Yeah.
have to, giving birth does not a mother make. And just because that child is not your child, yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
And
I have said from the jump to all of the moms that didn't vote with their children's interests at heart, I have always said, like, I will never be the person to say, I told you so. I will always come in and say, okay, well, then let's start doing the work now.
Mhm.
Because I am of the belief when you know better, you do better. And maybe they didn't know, maybe they didn't know better. So my hope and my goal is to make sure that when they do know better, that they can do better and pass that on to parents and families behind them.
Well, I'm going to say, because we talked about this before we started, I can't fault somebody for their vote. My disappointment and my anger goes to the people that don't vote. So for
Yeah.
all of you out there that have never voted because you don't think it matters, it freaking matters.
Yeah.
It matters. Get off your butt, because those who don't vote are usually the ones who yell the loudest
Yes.
about how
Yes.
they're being
Yes. When
nobody
all
has
of
said,
their
all of these
Mm-mm.
benefits being cut. And
Mhm.
I saw a post, how come nobody in MAGA is complaining? Well, they are now. When all of a
Yes.
sudden
And they're
Saturday,
probably not. Yes. And they're
now
not
all of a
complaining
sudden,
because they're afraid that they're going to be chastised for
Mhm.
needing those supports.
and it's an
Because
amazing thing.
we've become a society where if you are needing any kind of help, you should be ashamed of it. And I
Right.
am the first to say, give me all the help I need.
And
I
you know
need
what?
it.
That's exactly right. And give everyone, this
Yeah.
is the United States. We
Yeah.
are the richest country in the
Yes.
world. And it's shameful that we don't have universal health care. It's
Yes.
shameful that every kid in school isn't given meals. Period.
Yes.
It is shameful that we take our veterans who sign a blank freaking check to this
Mhm.
country for as long as they serve, and when they're done, bye-bye now.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
See ya.
You have to
Yeah.
fight for your benefits. And our children, and
Mhm.
especially our children with special needs, we should be giving them everything to make sure they have the best life they can have.
Mhm.
So Liz, what you do, I'm serious. I talked to you about it before the show, and I actually hope that you come and join our lineup, because
Thank
we need
you.
an advocate out here. We need somebody to take this platform and blow it up with advocacy for our kids, for the people who need us the most. Because until their voices are strong enough to be heard,
Mhm.
who else is going to advocate for them but us? How can people find you, Liz?
I'm very active on Instagram and Facebook. So my Instagram handle is Elizabeth.Louns, Louns. And then my Facebook is Elizabeth Teresa. That's usually where I post my big political and advocacy rants.
All of Liz's links are going to be live. Moms, reach out. Know
Yes,
that
please.
you are not alone. So often when you have a child with special needs or tremendous rare
Yes. And I
diagnosis,
used
you
to
feel
work
by yourself.
yes. And I used to work in social work. So I can handle whatever kind of medical or SNAP benefits, whatever kind of question there is with those too, because I used to work in social work. So I have that background as well.
Again, I encourage you to reach out. Liz, thank you so much for
Thank you
taking.
so much for having me.
Oh, are you kidding? Like I said, I really hope you become part of our lineup. I really do.
Thank you.
And for all of you out there listening, thank you so much for being here. We're going to close out with our fabulous theme song from Smith Sisters and the Sunday Drivers. So till next time, this is Dori DeCarlo saying go out and create a marvelous you. Bye for now.
She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. Sure of herself. Yeah, she takes care of biz. Powerful. sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you.